F1 British Grand Prix.
England needs someone to support at the moment, so why not be me?
An English sporting triumph would be very welcome. Button's rivals, though, beg to differ. Ahead of him on pole, there's Kimi Räikkönen, the Iceman from Finland, in the revitalised McLaren Mercedes. Rubens Barrichello's also up front. The Brazilian is a Silverstone specialist. He's scored at every Grand Prix. Alongside Button, there's Michael Schumacher. He comes to Silverstone with 9 wins out of 10. It is race day at racing headquarters. Welcome to the Foster's British Grand Prix. Hello there, good afternoon to you all. Silverstone is a 100,000 sellout. The weather, though, is none too clever. It's overcast, it's a chilly 16 degrees. At least there's no rain around at the moment. Over the years, we've had 20 home winners. This afternoon, Jenson Button would just love to join that exclusive club. Mark and Tony are with me. Tony, can he join that club? Can he win?
Well, he can do. He didn't get the pole position he wanted, but he's in 3rd place, so he's well poised to attack, and especially if people make mistakes in changeable conditions.
You gnarled old pro, you're wondering about those red cars, aren't you?
I've just been watching them all weekend, and you know, the tyres is what it's all about for this day. But yeah, I think it'd be a red car. I'm not sure who, though.
OK, must tell you to watch out for our report on that fantastic parade down at London's Regent Street. Really was a magnificent occasion. Martin Brundle, he borrowed a Jag for the drive down there. Only 500,000 watching his every move. No real pressure then. A very entertaining ingredient that on our pre-race show. Entertaining it was not pre-qualifying. We looked at that, Tony, and we were embarrassed by what we saw. Cars deliberately going slowly.
Because of the fabric of the regulations, you know, people were trying to avoid the rain and deliberately either spinning their cars, as we believe Michael Schumacher did, just turning off the traction control or turning it down a little bit so to avoid getting into trouble with the FIA, perhaps. But it was cynical to a huge degree. We were pretty ashamed of it, and we were just thinking about the fans.
Just to explain, they went slowly in that session so they could run early in the qualifying session that mattered, thinking the rain would come. And it didn't, and we all cringe with embarrassment.
Well, it backfired on a lot of those guys. You know, they've got a lot of people down the pit lane with weather reports coming through, spending a lot of money. But at the end of the day, people are paying good money to be here. They want to see entertainment. They want to see Formula One cars at their best. We didn't get that yesterday.
A lot of people were very upset up and down the pit lane, including Toyota's Mike Gascoigne.
There's a lot of people who paid to be in it. I think it's one of the best Saturday crowds that we've had at Silverstone for many years. and they have to sit and watch that. I don't really think that's what Formula One should be about. And when we talk about cost-cutting, teams being in trouble, we ought to be putting on a show, and that's not entertainment. And ultimately, if Formula One's self-interest is such that we can't be bothered to entertain the people who've paid to watch, then I don't think that's good for the long-term future of the sport.
We agree with every word of that. Let's take a look at what the Ferraris did in qualifying. First of all, Michael Schumacher. He very rarely gets on pole here, does he? And he's not here this weekend.
Michael has never been that strong qualifying here at Silverstone. I think that's very much the style of his driving, just doesn't quite suit the circuit. Normally he's very good on the technical aspect of the circuit, but the quicker stuff around here doesn't quite suit his behind-the-wheel inputs. But, you know, Michael's still strong. He's still in a good grid slot. He's up there in the second row. The man, though, that I'm very confident about for this weekend is Rubens Barrichello. He loves it around this place here. You know, last year we saw the guy probably the best Grand Prix of his career. He's up in the front row. We know the Ferrari's going to be strong. We know the Bridgestone will be strong as well. And he's out-qualified Michael Schumacher. That is unusual. How about David Coulthard? He wants a job in the game next year, doesn't he?
Gets a job. He's out there with his CV, but he needed to do better than this in qualifying. He did better in France. He was ahead of Raikkonen. He was third on the grid. He finished ahead of him in the race with a new B-spec car. But he had a problem going through Beckett's in that first sector, and he struggled a little bit, but he could go very well in the race. He's starting sixth.
Mercedes McLaren have improved the car over the last few weeks. Raikkonen is on pole.
Kimi's been spectacular all weekend long, Jim. I mean, he's just the most committed guy out on the circuit at this present point. Through the Beckett's combination of corners, unbelievable the amount of concentration and focus that he's making the car through those level of corners. You know, this guy is on top of his game. He's got something underneath him now to see where he can get the results from. It's going to be another thing. The race is going to be tough for him.
Rare smile from Ron Dennis at the end there. Jenson Button was last to go. It was chilly, it was cloudy, and he's ended up on the second row.
Again, not what he wanted. He wanted to try and get pole position, but he knew realistically that he was struggling with the car on Friday. They made aerodynamic changes and setup changes to the car. Just look at the clouds there. And of course, aerodynamics on the car are very, very sensitive to these crosswinds, which affected him as well. But huge support here for St George and a special helmet there. But Kimi was the man, and he got his third pole.
Absolutely. Quite a few changes to that grid. Olivier Panis in the Toyota. He's fallen foul of the stewards. Go on then, Mark, just chat us through it.
McLaren are back. Kimi Raikkonen on pole position, the first time since the US Grand Prix last year. Rubens Barrichello takes the front row. Jenson Button did an incredible job to qualify third. Michael Schumacher some problems. Truly with the Renault fifth. Coulthard a little bit despondent, a second down on Kimi. Montoya with the Williams not handling to his liking. Sato eighth. Webber in the Jaguar takes ninth. Massa had a good position with 10th on the grid. Genet a little bit disappointed with the Williams. Massa first of the Toyotas there, 12th. Christian Klein 13th. Pantano 14th in the Jordan. Heifeld outgunned by his teammate. Alonso engine penalties for 16th. An unhappy Panis with his time deleted by the FIA for blocking Massa's qualifying lap. The two Minardis with engine penalties, and Fisichella 20th and last because of an engine penalty as well.
Well, last weekend at Manicourt in France, Ferrari opened their doors for us. This weekend, Jaguar are our featured team. We're going to join the Austrian driver Christian Klien with Ted Kravitz as he makes his way to the circuit this morning.
You seem to be ultra aggressive on track. Is that your kind of racing?
Yeah, I think that's my kind of racing, and I think I learned this. I raced 3 years in Formula BMW, then 1 year in Formula Renault European Championship, last year in Formula Series. It's all really tough championships where I have to fight really hard.
And it's the same in Formula One? You can still battle wheel to wheel with these guys?
You have to be a bit more careful because you have so high speed, you know. It's a lot more dangerous in Formula One, but you're still able to fight with the other drivers and to fight for your position. It's quite tough here, Formula One, especially the first year where the most circuits are new for me. And but there are also so many little things what you have to fit together on a race weekend, what you cannot see from the outside. And that's also for me was one thing I didn't know that, and that's a lot of things to learn, and it's not easy. Yeah.
What about Mark, your teammate? He seems to be really quick.
He's a very quick driver, yeah, and but also a friendly person, so it's very easy to work with him, and especially for a young driver, you can learn a lot of such a driver, and it's very nice to be his teammate, and I think he can learn a lot because he's a really quick, nice guy.
Okay, well, Christian, thanks very much for giving me a lift.
Yeah,
Don't know how I would have got in otherwise.
Yeah.
And have a good race this afternoon.
Thank you very much, yeah.
The Formula One community has been shocked and saddened this weekend by the death of John Walton, sporting director at Minardi. And this morning at the Minardi garage, they observed a period of silence. John Walton had a heart attack on Monday. He passed away peacefully on Friday with his family at his bedside at St Thomas's Hospital in London. He was 47. This tribute comes from Minardi team principal Paul Stoddart.
This week, as by now many people have heard, Minardi has had a very difficult weekend with the tragic loss of John Walton, our sporting director. But much more than our sporting director, John was a much loved member of the Formula One community. He's got friends, and it's been so evident this weekend just how many friends he's got up and down this pit lane. John sadly suffered a heart attack last Monday evening and succumbed to it on Friday evening. He will be sadly, sadly missed, not just in Minardi, but throughout the whole Formula One community. And our best wishes and sympathy go to his family and his friends.
Our sympathies with John's family and friends, in particular with his partner, our colleague, Louise Goodman. Louise isn't with us this weekend, but earlier last week she visited Mark Webber and his partner and personal manager, Anne Neal. They sat down and chewed the cud in the corner of their local pub.
It's a very nice little corner of England you've found. Are you regulars here? Is this your local pub?
Yeah, occasionally, just really for dinner, and you know, when we have visitors from Australia, it seems the ideal little location to take them to.
Tell me a bit about your background now, because you've worked in the motorsport industry for quite a while, haven't you?
Absolutely. Probably for too long. I was working for Ford through one of their public relation companies, looking after Formula Ford for quite a few years. That was probably in the early 90s. And then I emigrated out to Australia, and when I got out there, Ford said the same, do you want to look after Formula Ford? And that's really where I got involved in the Australian racing scene.
So is that where your paths first crossed?
Yeah, I remember taking the Michael out of Anne the first time I sort of met her, really. The first time I really heard an English person talk as well when I was young, sort of 16, 17 or whatever.
Proper English, you mean?
Yeah, well, not us Aussies, obviously. So, yeah, it was interesting. And then, like, halfway through the year, Dad, or even a bit later on in the year, Dad sort of asked Anne, could she sort of help a bit more with maybe trying to find some sponsorship, or which was maybe a little bit naughty for Anne to do, trying to, you know, with her other job, I suppose, but it was just trying to help trying to get us underway, really.
So how does it work now with Flavio? Because obviously he is your manager.
We do have a good working relationship with Flavio and Bruno and Michelle. And we do bounce ideas across the table, don't we? We're still sort of very much in there. But my role is really now the day-to-day stuff, whether it's Mark's diary, Mark's PR, travel arrangements, just anything and everything we need to be done to get him where he needs to go, really.
Are the two worlds quite difficult to separate? Do you find that when you sit down for dinner at night, you're talking about Formula One?
Yes. We try not to, but...
Yeah, there's a lot of arguments that do come up at home, I suppose, yeah, because of the stresses of work and want things to be done properly, and then the travel and the load, and just little, sort of normal things, pathetic little things that you have arguments about. You just, you know, I might go and have a workout or go on my bike and then come back and go, oh, sorry, you know, that was all, you know, because it is just pathetic stuff you're arguing about.
So do you share Mark's enthusiasm for sport, Anne?
Probably as a spectator, but that's about it. I mean, I'm quite patient with him, the amount of cycling he goes and does, I think. But I think two of us in the family would be a nightmare. I mean, nothing would get done. There'd be no work done. There'd be nothing done. So I think he needs someone at home, you know, that will put the pasta on when he calls, you know, from 30 minutes down the road and say, I'm on my way, you know, so...
So is Anne your organiser?
I do everything.
OK, we'll see that then.
It's a pretty slick operation, you know. Yeah, Anne's very good to me, and I think, you know, she knows that I'm not trying to abuse the situations. Actually, I'm trying to have a good scheduling as well, and I feel happy for doing that, you know, whether it's my training or whether it's whatever. And
it must be very difficult to weigh up the balance between your head and your heart when you're making a big decision, like, for example, moving away from Jaguar, because you're a very loyal person.
in this game, as we know, it's things happen very, very quickly, and being loyal is not always going to give you the best results that you want. And if you're going to have regrets at the end of your career because, yeah, he's top bloke, you know, went well, but didn't quite get the results, and, you know, I'm not really happy about that. I want to be getting the results that I know the effort I'm putting into it and the people around me what we deserve. Basically, your question is, will I stay with Jaguar? I would love to stay at Jaguar, but if the commitment is there from Ford and to take the team forward, it would be great. But I have to be aiming for podiums and wins next year, and if Jaguar can do that, you know, well, it's probably unlikely, to be honest. Pretty much know what I want to do. You just got to wait for another few more weeks and see what happens.
Doesn't look like the greatest cook in the world, Mark Webber, despite his driving skills. Could do perhaps with a spell in Hell's Kitchen. Let's have a word with Gordon Ramsay.
Well, Gordon, Grand Prix food is kind of known for hot dogs and, you know, pork pies, but it's not like that in this part of the world, is it?
Definitely not in there. No, I was talking to Ron earlier, and if this thing was sort of mobile, 7 days a week, it could have 3 Michelin stars, because the food in here is unique. And it's just amazing the way, not only just the sort of circuits and the cars have evolved, but now the food. And they're starting to focus more on what their sort of requirements are, their protein intake. And it's great because they perform better, but it's bloody good.
You do realise you can't shout at anyone or push anyone around in here because you'll get done over by a couple of mechanics.
It's only the kitchen in the country I know that actually wear earplugs. So I might actually suggest that to my guys tomorrow. They can put earplugs in on service.
Thanks very much. Have a good race.
Thank you.
Earplugs in Hell's Kitchen, that's a good idea. Ron, by the way, Ron Dennis, the McLaren boss. In the build-up to this Silverstone Grand Prix, Formula One visited Regent Street in London's West End. The public's response was quite outstanding. A crowd estimated at 500,000, enjoying a unique and quite unforgettable spectacle. A couple of more mature drivers sprinkled with the modern chargers. Martin Brundle rolling back the years in the Jag.
Somebody's had a crash, by the looks of it.
That's you in Melbourne a few years ago.
That's a good picture, isn't it? Show that to Eddie Jordan when he turns up. He had to pay for it. And what a way to be with Jaguar for Meet the Team at Silverstone this weekend. They've given me a set of fireproof overalls and a pucker Formula One car. The streets of London have been cleared. It's absolutely amazing and surreal. We're in a makeshift paddock in central London. There are a few other faces around here you might recognise too.
My biggest motivation is to sort of break the speed limit legally.
Well, that's about 32 miles an hour then, is it?
I hear you're only going to do about 70 miles an hour.
What are you going to do then?
I've got mine limited to 190.
You're always faster than me, Nigel.
You probably don't know how many gears are in the car, do you? How many gears have you got?
Between 5 and 10.
It's 6 or 7, isn't it?
7. I've got 7. How many have you got?
Can't quite remember. It's all automatic.
Well, there's only 2 pedals in there now as well. I mean, that's just, we used to have 3, you know, now you just got 2 and you flick around on
we go so much quicker now.
Well, that is a fact. That is a fact. We're all dressed up, ready to go. Let's go and give them some fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty good, and I hope they, they enjoy the show. All the teams are taking a big thing just to come to do this between the races, and it's pretty nice to see it.
And people hear the noise and maybe a bit of burning out and getting some smoke and just giving general appreciation of just how powerful these cars are.
Enjoy yourself.
Thank you, and you. You remember what to do?
Yeah, nearly. 500,000 people, we're about to find out, including some famous faces. This is the route. The start line in Lower Regent Street, through Piccadilly Circus, a 90 left into Regent Street itself, past the famous Liberty store. Showtime at the Palladium, and home again in time for donuts. This is almost too amazing to be true, incredible. Formula One then comes to London. It's incredibly bumpy. So the Formula One circuit then comes to Piccadilly Circus. Incredible. Here we go. Let's see how fast we can go down Regent Street. So past Hamleys then, but I've got the best boys toy in the world. I do not need to stop there today. Give the crowd a good wave. And the lights are on red, but I am not going to stop. I'm used to coming down here
behind in the back of a taxi at about 5 miles an hour. 3, 2, 1. So then we're heading down towards the Palladium, past the incredible Liberty. I've got to get a clutch on the other side now. Give these people some fun. They've been waiting all day. But there's some people have been here 10 hours. I can't believe there's so many people. Look at them as we're heading back down. This is barely any wider than a Formula 1 car. The police have got to hold the barrier back. I'm going to have to slow right down. Okay, and here we go then, back into Regent Street. And the lights are still on red. That's incredibly narrow. Oh, I got a green light, Lars. Everything's getting very high in here. Through another red light. And back down then. London will never look the same to me again as I'm driving through. One last one for the boys down there. We're heading back down towards the pit. I don't know if we can do a donut. Okay, that was just amazing. What a super experience.
Overalls looked a snug fit, but you never lose it, do you?
You don't lose it, but I've never seen Martin's eyes as wide as that. Tell a lie, in the West End of London about 2 in the morning.
Now, a London Grand Prix, what are your feelings on that?
As a promotion, it's wonderful. It's a shot in the arm for Formula 1, so many people turning out, you know, for the popularity, but it'll never happen as a Grand Prix. There's too many logistical problems.
You're an Arsenal fan, you're a gooner, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, what's that chant? We've got Dennis Bergkamp, we've got Dennis Bergkamp. We have got Dennis Bergkamp.
Hi Dennis, it's a bit different to a football field. Are you a big Formula 1 fan?
Yeah, I am. I've been watching it a lot of times on television, yeah, probably every week, and it's my first time to a real race, so really exciting.
And who's your tip for today?
No surprise, I think, well, might be a surprise. I hope that Jenson Button will do well in this course, this race circuit, and I've always been a fan of Michael, so hopefully he will do well as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Dennis. Good luck for your race. Thanks.
He's done pretty well so far, has Michael Schumacher this season. So we've just seen Martin Brundle getting the old racing juices bubbling once again. He's behind the microphone for us this weekend. We're going to sit him down now with Mark Webber to discuss Mark's qualifying lap. He's going to start 9th in the Jaguar.
Mark, you're going to line up 9th on the grid. Probably not where you'd hope to be, but still a spectacular amount of effort and commitment went into that. Let's take a look at that lap.
Yeah. Well, yeah, starting the lap down into the first corner. Very, very, very quick first corner. You can hear the rev limiter just before I turn in, using a bit of curve on the exit. Got that right to start with.
Yeah. And now the incredibly quick Maggott and Beckett's corner.
Yeah, very, very quick. It's important to get the sequence right in here. The further in you go, the slower it gets. We need a very, very good exit onto Hangar Straight here. The wind plays a big, big role there as well. So now just a little relax along the straight. Got the first part of the sector behind me. Looking to get into Stowe as deep as possible. Very late. Wait a little bit mid-corner, then hit the power. Very, very hard. Get a good exit down the hill here. Tricky braking here, downhill. Can't quite see the apex. A little bit conservative on the brakes I was, but then I made sure I got a really good exit out of club.
Now you tend to go a little wider on the exit there, yeah, to free the car up, but it's a longer distance.
Yeah, get the traction control released, if you like. A bit of a tailwind into turn 11 and 12 there at Abbey, which we recovered the situation. Bridge is flat and fantastic corner. Pryor again, a lot of wind from the inside. We saw a lot of people having trouble with that at practice, so managed to get through there. And you know, it's hard to finish a lap here. It's very slow speed and quite frustrating for the cars because they've had such a big start to the lap. So they're quite frustrated in there, and now just driving straight to the line as quick as we can.
Are you staring at the dashboard, waiting for the time to come up?
Yeah, exactly. As soon as it pops up, then then Pete came on the radio and said, "Good effort," and I was really happy with it.
Take us through Cops one more time. You're going to be pulling 18,000 revs bouncing off the limiter in 6th. What are you doing then on the way in?
Well, just a very, very light brush of the brakes. Again, it was probably the best I got it all weekend. The turning point's absolutely crucial. Looking for a little bit of inside curve, and now hard on the power. And again, letting the car run a bit wide. The grip on the exit there is very good. So, but very, very good corner to get right in the Formula 1 car very, very quick.
Abbey chicane gave you a bit of a difficult moment. Talk us through that, Mark.
Well, arriving here with quite a big tailwind, actually, as we found out in the end, but I knew I arrived a little bit quicker, had to break a sniff early. Frustrating little corner to get right, but I was happy with how I got it.
OK, thanks for the insight you've given us on how to drive around Silverstone.
No problem.
He has scored Jaguar's only points this season, and there are only 3 of them. He's never scored at Silverstone. What chance of an improvement today?
I think he's got a good chance to score points today, Jim, but you know, there's a lot of talk about Mark Webber. I think he's got vast potential, but he's still only had a 5th position in his Grand Prix career so far. I'd like to see him against a very, very strong teammate to see how he stacks up.
The popular theory, Tony, is that he's on his way to BMW Williams next season.
Yes, the reckoning is that they're going to announce by Hungary that he will be going there, but it's interesting that Mark is making negative noises about Jaguar's performance and saying it's not quite good enough and he expected more. First half of the season, he's been really loyal to Jaguar. That suggests he's on his bike.
In this business, though, you can only be loyal to one person, and that's yourself.
You have to be. I mean, loyalty is not a word that's used around that paddock very often. And, you know, if Jaguar not performing for Mark, he has to jump ship and get the equipment under him to get those results.
Right, let's just look back to last year's British Grand Prix. It was a really strong contender for Race of the Year. We saw a glut of overtaking and the drive of his life from Rubens Barrichello.
Great start by Trulli, look at him!
And look at Barrichello. That was a beautiful pass.
Wow, what a move!
And finally then, that pass is made, and Button having a look. And Barrichello's going to take it, surely. Michael's going to pass you, my friend. You didn't cover him properly, and up he goes. And a brave move there from Coulthard.
Yes, Rubens, you are the winner of the 2003 British Grand Prix, a race we'll remember for a very, very long time.
Rubens Barrichello second in the Drivers' Championship at the moment. Michael Schumacher right on course to clinch title number 7. Could happen as early as Hungary next month. Barrichello 8 podiums. It puts him 20 points ahead of Button. Trulli, he's only a couple of days off his 30th birthday, is just behind. Then Alonso, relegated to 16th on today's grid. Montoya, runner-up to Barrichello here last year. Sato, bedeviled by engine failures. Ralf Schumacher's season that could well be over after his back injuries at Indianapolis. He will be in a Toyota next year. Coulthard has scored in the last 3 races. We've enjoyed a taste of all the thrills of last year's British Grand Prix. We had one unwanted intrusion as well. And Tony now remembers the contribution of one very quick-thinking individual who meant that normal service was resumed.
Exciting racing at last year's British Grand Prix turned hazardous as a track invader threatened disaster, and we all held our breath.
What on earth are you doing?
But a reluctant hero prevented a catastrophe. Top bank official and marshal Stephen Green.
I think hero's possibly a little strong word for it. I mean, really, I've done what any other marshal here would have done. It's something that we're trained to do, not necessarily with track invaders, but, you know, we're trained to deal with the unexpected, and that certainly was the unexpected.
350 marshals this weekend, all different.
I'm a cheesemaker.
You're a cheesemaker.
You all know what you're doing.
keep your acts together, keep on top of your job, be vigilant.
Marshals are a breed apart, volunteering for the love of the sport, taking risks, even when the best make mistakes.
Numbers have been dwindling for about 10 years on a gradual basis, and we feel that it's because there is more for the young people to do these days, more opportunities for them to do other things. What we have done is we've used the events of last year to try and promote marshalling and to try and entice a few more people along.
There's camaraderie, but the campsite is their economic trackside hotel.
Why do you do this for absolutely nothing?
Because I enjoy it. It's a great weekend. Rain, shine, whatever.
2 tents.
Yeah.
Gazebo over the top, so we
Right.
can pass between the two.
I see.
It's a total opposite to what I do for my work. And, you're close to the action, you get to meet some very interesting people over the course of the period, and something I would be loath to give up.
British motor racing marshals are the lifeblood of the sport, unsung heroes, epitomised by Stephen Green.
And never forget, no marshals equals no racing. Just over 25 minutes to go to the start of the British Grand Prix. That is Louise Griffith, Jensen's fiancée, getting a little peck on the cheek from Nav Sidhu at Jaguar. Let's have a word with a couple of, what should we call them, British motorsport legends.
Well, indeed, Jim. 2 legends for the price of 1 here we've got. You'll have to remind me of your names, gentlemen. Oh, sorry. Anyway, Murray, we've just been talking about the weather. It's a hot topic in the paddock. I've just had a look at a weather radar, and it looks like it's going to remain fine. What do your instincts tell you?
Your guess is as good as mine, Ted, and you know what happens when I make a prophecy. But if there are the clouds, if the wind is coming this way, we're in trouble. But at the moment, the wind is going that way, so it's thumbs up for victory, I think.
So what do we make of the race today, Sterling? It's good to see a McLaren on front after the dismal year they've had.
No, and I must say, if anybody can do it, I reckon Kimi can. Kimi's a real racer. That's what in racing you get a lot of drivers, not many racers, and Kimi's a racer. And I reckon that with a bit of luck, and if it holds together, he's a possible. I must say, normally one would say Michael, because Michael's so good. But with Kimi and that car, maybe.
We couldn't hear this fantastic reception here, Murray. I mean, Silverstone's had its problems, isn't it? But this is what the British Grand Prix is all about.
I don't know what all the fuss is about, Ted. Silverstone looks absolutely fantastic. New buildings, new fences, new paintwork. It looks great. And in comparison with some of the places that Formula One goes to, it's a paragon of virtue.
Gents, enjoy the race. Thank you very much.
Silverstone does look absolutely great, and it would be absolutely great if Jensen Button as well managed to win his home Grand Prix wearing that patriotic helmet. It is 100,000 sellout, the first sellout for 5 years, record 60,000 here for qualifying. Silverstone doing the business in style. A couple of more familiar and slightly younger faces now.
So you're here with the Jordan team, is that who you're supporting?
Oh, of course, yeah. Keep it Irish.
Irish, man, do you think they're going to do well today?
Well, we're hoping for rain, because if it rains, they might have a chance of hopefully getting somewhere high. Maybe struck a point if it rains, but if it stays like this, I don't think the engine's going to do much justice for us today.
He seems to know what he's talking about. How's about yourself? What's your tip?
Yeah, at least he does. I just agree with him and go, yeah. I don't really know much about racing, but I have to say I've had a fantastic weekend. It's been brilliant. So it's my first time here, so I'll definitely be coming again. It's fantastic.
Look forward to inviting you back. Thank you.
The Jordans 14th and 15th on the grid. One of the Minogues, Danny Minogue. Thank you very much for that. And we always want to hear your views. As always, you can email us at paddockitv-f1.com. You can text F1 plus your message or question to 86188. And Ted is there on Ask the Team this week. And we'll be right back. We'll mingle with more of those celebrities. And Martin Brundle will be down there on the grid as well. We are counting down to the start of the Foster's British Grand Prix. Your guess is as good as mine on that one, I would have to say. Mr. Pantano, find out what he was doing there. And let's go down to Alan McNish. He is with Mark Webber on the grid.
Hello, Mark. Obviously, yesterday went well. We've heard you talk in the lap. How do you think it's going to go today?
Well, we'll get away cleanly. Cops and Beckett's is going to be interesting on the first lap. It's a very quick first few corners to start the lap. And yeah, we've just got to hang in there and see how the strategies unfold. It's going to be interesting and try and get some points at the end of the day. We're some quick boys. I mean, the pace around here could be quite, a little bit quick for us over a race distance, but we'll try and hang in there.
Looks like there's a few clouds. Are you going to listen to your weather forecasters after yesterday's mistakes?
I'm just going to listen to my visor and see what my visor's telling me. In terms of weather forecast, they've got an idea, of course, but we're the only ones doing the full lap, and we'll let them know what we need when we need it.
Okay, Mark. Good luck.
The majority of the weather forecasters have been 100% wrong throughout the weekend. So when spots come out of the sky, we will tell you. No rain at the moment. Giorgio Pantano, apparently, according to my man Mark Blundell, was protecting his midriff a bit there, wasn't he? Stop the seatbelt digging in you.
Yeah, it's just because the seatbelt, waist belt comes across, it's quite tight, Jim, and it tightens up in your abdomen. You just need a bit of padding there, just protect yourself.
Give us an indication of the emotions down there on the grid. Louise, she always looks more nervous, Tony, doesn't she, than all the drivers put together?
Yeah, she gets very, very nervous. She talks about that. She's also nervous because she's performing at the concert tonight as well in front of an estimated 10,000 people, truly warming up. He still can't talk, by the way. He's got a nodule on his vocal cord, so he's being very careful. He talks through his laptop.
He wouldn't want to talk too much about what happened to him in France at the end of the race last week either.
No, I think he's trying to forget that, and if he can overwrite that this weekend with a great performance, everybody will forget about it. But, at this moment in time, he needs to warm up pretty good and make sure he doesn't have none of those problems.
Let's have a word with the Englishman working for Ferrari, who loves to beat the English on their own soil. Ross Brawn.
Well, indeed, Ross, are you looking forward to beating the English on their own soil? And big question, Rubens or Michael? Michael or Rubens?
Well, either. We don't mind which. It has a special flavour about it, trying to beat a lot of the teams I've worked with in the past. So there is a bit of extra needle, a bit of extra spice at British Grand Prix. I say not many of our team feel it, but I do. So there's a bit of an edge to this weekend.
Just briefly, what's going to govern strategy? Tyre degradation? It's quite a green track, isn't it?
Yes, and probably the rain last night worked in our favour, because as the track rubbers in, it moves more towards a Michelin tyre. So I think particularly at the beginning of a race, the Michelins may suffer a lot of degradation. We've got to try and not be held up by them, either by changing our strategy or overtaking. I think if they suffer a lot of degradation, we'll see some overtaking this afternoon, which would be good.
Thanks very much, Ross.
Saw a huge amount of overtaking, Mark, last weekend, and a lot of optimism about Ron Dennis and his McLaren team, especially bearing in mind what's gone before this season.
Yeah, there is a lot of excitement about McLaren at the moment. They've made a huge step, and it's been evident to see with pole position for Kimi Raikkonen. Also some talks about Ron Dennis not being around in the next couple of years at that team.
And there's Mr. Pantano with his midriff suitably protected. And Jordan, they're based right across the road from here at Silverstone, and they've been doing a great job in welcoming the public. They've been doing a terrific job. You went there, Tony, didn't you?
Yeah, they're running this Jordan experience. It is amazing. They're selling memorabilia. They had a band there and a huge turnout from the fans.
Let's go down on the grid. In the heart of it all is Martin.
Yeah, absolutely, we are here. What a beautiful position to be standing. Just behind Kimi Raikkonen's car in pole position. Rubens Barrichello in second in the glorious Ferrari. Jenson Button here in third place. Got a great view heading towards the first corner. A sellout crowd. What more could you want? Let's see if we can have a sound bite from one or two of these drivers. And Rubens is talking there to French TV. Kimi, interestingly, already in the car, doesn't want to talk to anybody, not because he's nervous. I think he just wants to focus on what he's doing. And I'll come back to Rubens momentarily. Let's see if we can find Jenson Button. We need to have a word from him. The grid is absolutely full of politicians, but I don't think you've turned on to see them today. They're all profiling, pretending they're marginally interested in the Grand Prix. Haven't seen them do too much for the British Grand Prix yet. Let's see if they can prove us wrong. Jenson, well, what do you think? A lot of pressure on you today.
Thank you for that, Martin.
Good, I thought you'd be... that's all right, you just joined in ours, yeah, OK. Yeah, well, you've been handling it really well all weekend.
It's been... the team have done a good job of keeping it quite relaxed for me, so I can just get on with my job, and it's been fine. There's been... obviously, there's a big crowd here, which is fantastic, and hopefully we can put on a good show for them.
Oh, he had supreme pressure yesterday. He had to wait right until the end of qualifying, all the expectation, and he drove beautifully. You can't be too unhappy with that. You seem to cope with it.
No, I was happy with yesterday's performance. You know, we're in a good place today for the race, so I'm looking forward to it.
Did I hear you had to change some aero parts on your car because the car was not too good in the wind yesterday?
We have changed parts over the last 2 days, but it's a lot better now. You know, I'm happy with the car, and the wind's a little bit less than it was yesterday. So.
All right, so that's not going to hamper you too much.
It won't be a problem.
Good luck. Right, I don't know if Rubens was anywhere near. And anyway, we've spoken to Stirl today. We won't bother him. Let's just see, because I think Rubens Barrichello has got the best chance. We're going to have to step over this Ferrari gear, which they are not going to be happy bunnies about. But can he make it? Rubens, well, you were brilliant here last year. Maybe the race of your life. You've been quicker than Michael all weekend. Tell us what's going to happen.
Well, to be honest with you, I thought pole position was on the cards. I wasn't expecting Kimi to go faster, but now we have to see what's the balance behind him, see if I can overtake on the start, something like this. I have the pace to go really fast, so hopefully I can have a free track.
All right, well, you know, there's a lot of English fans, British fans watching here, so don't give Jensen a hard time, will you, when he's coming through?
I would love to be on the podium with him. Would you let me go first, please?
Okay, good luck. We better go around the front, I think, rather than try to step over. There's some people down the grid that I want to talk to. I was hoping to get hold of Bernie as well. The place is so full of people. It's incredible. You can't see the wood for the trees as usual, as I seem to have to say every time. Can you... we're still going. Let's stop by on our way down. There's somebody I particularly want to talk to down the back who I've known since you was a baby. And where's DC? Is DC on the grid? DC is on the grid because he's in the car. All right. Give him a thumbs up there. And Bernie apparently is down here somewhere, so we'll wander down and we'll try and find the little lady I'm looking for in particular. And Montoya getting ready to get in the car. Sato, a quick word with him. Takuma, have you got more fuel than the others? Is this why you're back down the grid?
Well, I can't tell you, but I'm very confident with my strategy today.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do now to change it, so we can't spoil it for you, but you're comfortable, you've got what you need.
Yeah, I am comfortable, obviously. The weather, nobody knows, but it's going to be a good one. Anyway.
Good luck. The weather, interesting point. 20% chance, apparently. 20% chance of sprinkly rain, which always makes the race so interesting. And here's Bernie and Slavica. Bernie, how are you? Hi, Slavica. So Silverstone's looking good?
Yeah, look good. The sun's good, everything's super.
Yeah. Okay, and do you think we'll be here next year?
You know we'll be here. All you've got to find is somebody with the money. So why don't you put some of your money and we'll do it together?
I couldn't afford to lose that amount of money. I'm a very poor man compared to you, but all right, well, it's good to see you. Slavica, I think you're not very happy with my grid walks. You want to give me a bit of a slapping?
No, I just love you. We admire you, darling. Without you, Formula One, I don't know where I will be.
I know you missed it. You told me they were really boring. Okay, have I got any time left? I've got 20 seconds left to talk to this young lady. We're going to have to jog down here. The grid girls are all beautiful, and this one is Mickey Jordan, Eddie Jordan's daughter. Luckily, she got her mother's looks, of course. Mickey, how did you get this job, other than being, of course, your dad around? But did you apply for it or what?
I didn't. I don't know.
All right, so you got to leave it in. Okay, is it cold here? I mean, at least the sun's come out.
When the sun's out, it's actually okay.
All right, you're doing a brilliant job. Good to see you again. And back to you, Jim.
Well done, Martin. Jensen Button so laid back. Ruben saying, let me go first on the podium. Sato saying he is comfy. And you heard it here from Bernie Ecclestone. Silverstone looks super. A McLaren on pole with Raikkonen. McLaren, the best of British 12 times. So of Ferrari. Barrichello on the front row. Schumy's behind him. Expect Trulli's Renault to be the fastest starter. What about Jensen Button's BAR? His balmy army is gathered around a sold-out Silverstone. It is the British Grand Prix racing your way. different, but we have a full